A couple days ago, I made these raised garden beds for free out of some logs that were on our property from some downed trees. Yesterday, I went to pick up some horse poop from a local horse stable. It is aged horse poop, so it's been sitting in a compost for about a year. And so I went and picked that up for some free soil for my raised beds. I am on a mission to save money on groceries by growing a lot of our own food this year. When I was doing research on starting a garden, I realized that it can get really expensive really fast. So my goal is to do this as cheaply as possible, and so far, these raised beds have been completely free. I did spend about $20 on some seeds that I am going to be planting today to start our very first garden of the season. We are a lower income family, so saving money on groceries is really important. I know that we've all experienced these rising grocery prices, but the lower your income is and the less money that you live off of every month, the greater effect and the more you feel these rising prices because it's a higher percent of your income. I'm going to continue to be sharing all of my garden experiences. Growing food and plants is a learning process, and I am certain that I'm going to be making lots of mistakes along the way. I have gardened before and had a pretty big garden when I lived in Tennessee, but we are now in a new area. We've moved up into the mountains of Virginia, so it's a completely different environment than in the valley of East Tennessee. If you are interested in following along, make sure that you subscribe. Before I put the manure down into the garden beds, I did layer some cardboard down just to prevent the grass from growing, because we literally just moved here a few days ago and I have not had any time to do any prep work to the garden. That's one reason why I'm doing these raised beds instead of having it in the ground, is because I just have not had the chance to till up any ground. I don't have a tiller. I don't know people in the area yet to help me till. So these raised garden beds are just going to be a really quick way to go ahead and get some seeds in the ground right away. And I'm going to expand as the season goes on and as I'm able to. I also built these potato boxes specifically for potatoes, and I just went to Walmart and went to the organic section and got some already sprouted organic red potatoes that I am just putting straight into the ground. I found a worm as I was digging, so my soil is probably pretty healthy. This dirt right here actually came from I have a forest behind my house, and I went and I dug this up. My goal was I thought about maybe filling up all of the raised beds with the dirt from the forest, but that was going to take forever and was exhausting. So I went ahead and just found the horse manure. So I guess I'll be able to do a little experiment and see if the soil in the forest was healthier than the horse compost soil. But I got all these potatoes, and I have another potato bed that I'm going to do later. I didn't have any more potatoes. I actually want to put a different type of potatoes in there, but we'll see which one grows better or if it even really makes much of a difference. So I got all these filled up. I'm going to stop and do lunch. This is our compost bucket that we've been filling up in our kitchen. And I also built these pallets. They're compost pallets, completely free except for the latches that I put on there that are optional. I'll link that video in case you haven't seen it, and you can go watch how we built these. But we are going to be making our own compost for soil next year, and this is just the very beginning of it. While I was at lunch, I made these labels so that I could label all of my seeds and stuff in the garden. These are just old, so we have this old package of shims from like Home Depot, so I just wrote it on these old shims. I'm just getting these garden beds like making sure that all the soil's all broken up and it's nice and loose. This is probably not the tool to use for that, but this is the tool that I have, and I am not prepared to go out and buy a whole bunch of garden tools just yet. So I'm just using my shovel to break up clumps of dirt, soil, poo-poo, and spreading it around. Then I just kind of laid out how I want to plant everything in the garden beds, just on the grass here. We are in zone 6B. We're kind of on the cusp of 6B and 7A, but we're pretty high in elevation. So I'm going with 6B. And so we are planting some cooler spring vegetables. I really wanted to get everything planted today, and I succeeded because it is supposed to start raining this afternoon. We are completely off grid right now, which means we do not have any water here on the property, at least not any water that we don't have to like move around. We do have a spring fed creek at the very back corner of the property, which would be a huge pain to get water down here, or we can get water off of the property and bring it to the garden. But I really am hopeful that it is going to rain on all of these seeds to get them to grow.